say, man, we had to run this one back. You feel? We had to run this one back.
Yes,
man.
sir.
Welcome back to another episode of the Juh Kickin It Podcast with your favorite host, D-Lo.
Matt Will, you know the drill.
What'd that say? Episode 57, man?
57, man.
Yeah, we had to bring back a brother in the building. You know, we got Cole back, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
my
man.
dog.
Hey, man, it was kind of crazy, bro. Like, I was pulling up YouTube when you guys asked me to run it back. I was like, dang, I was just on, like, what, 9 episodes ago? 8 episodes ago? I was like, wow.
Towards the end of 2024.
Yeah. I was like, like 9 episodes. I was like, dang, I must be doing pretty well then.
Yeah, hey. Wow. We had to run it back, though, especially
we just had to.
With this packed weekend of football we had. Some heartbreak, if I'm being real, you know. Like,
yeah. I mean,
we got a lot.
Your heart's been broke for a while now. I mean, Denver let you down.
Yeah.
Lamar let you down.
Yeah.
At least Matt and I, we've been let down way before the playoffs.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah. See, the thing is, what I don't like, bro, and this might be messed up view, but I'd rather not get my hopes up than get my hopes up and then lose. I'd rather lose early.
Well, you know, it's funny that you say that. My hopes were very low.
Yeah.
I got to see Michael Penix Jr. sling that pill.
Yeah.
You know, black man named Mike with a last name that can be substituted with, you know, any letter, and you have a male genitalia. I mean, it can get very sad.
Yeah.
But no, my hopes were high. You know, watching him play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I literally have the biggest smile on my face talking about Michael Penix Jr. I can
give y'all some hope, some good hope.
I mean, not only that, but it's kind of like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of like mini football teams. Obviously, I'm a Falcons fan because I'm from Georgia.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and the year, you know, they last year before they drafted him, I'm playing Madden. And I'm going through different situations. I'm like, all right, well, this is before I knew Kirk was even going to be a Falcon. So I'm like, all right, looking at the quarterback classes. I'm like, what would it be like to have a lefty quarterback again and have Michael Penix Jr.? So I went ahead and drafted him, like, once I imported, like, the draft class and everything, just to play with him. All right, you know, I doubt it. I was more on the Jayden Daniels train. I was like, I don't care how they do it. Trade up, go get Jayden Daniels. But they got Kirk Cousins, so I was like, "Oh, never mind. I'm gonna go get an edge rusher. You know, we'll call it at that. Keep it pushing." And then, of course, you know, draft day comes around, you get shocked, and you're just curious to see what this product is. I saw him throw live in person a couple of times. I was like, "Dude, this dude's not going to be on the bench the whole year." I just can't see it. You know, we get to the season, Kirk is actually playing somewhat well. Whenever they play Tampa Bay, so twice, and then after that, it just stunk it up, and I was like,
I was like,
make a change.
So what if y'all would have started Penix from the beginning?
No, I don't think we should have started him from the beginning. I think after the Broncos game, I think after getting demolished the way Atlanta did,
that was pretty bad. That was pretty
bad. The way Bo Nix looked more like the veteran quarterback and Kirk more like the rookie. Yeah, you know, a lot of BTA. So you know, I was hoping, like, I was like, all right, you gotta make the switch then. They didn't make the switch, you know, stood by it. So I mean, if he would have got to start or right after that, you know, maybe we're in the playoffs, maybe we're having a different conversation, maybe we get bounced you know, after playing the Lions, because you know the Atlanta defense is god awful, can't get after the quarterback for anything. So but no, I mean, I'm excited for, you know, what that season holds. You know, hopefully this time it should be edge rusher. If it's not edge rusher, I don't know. I just don't know.
What pick do y'all have?
15th. 15th.
That's such a weird, that's a weird spot.
I mean,
don't know who y'all get.
If who you really want isn't there, if I was a GM,
yes. Mm-hmm.
And if I personally myself, I would like James Pierce Jr., the edge rusher for Tennessee.
Yeah.
You know, he was probably going to be the number 1 overall pick. If you were to ask last year, like they were looking at this class, like, oh yeah, James Pierce Jr. Abdul Carter was not even in the conversation for the number 1 pick, or the number 1 edge rusher at that point. But he was definitely in the top 5 conversation. And watching, you know, him, you know, James Pierce Jr. play, I'm kind of like, yeah. I mean, if he's there by the time we were up, you got to go get him. You know, if he's not there, it sucks. But I mean, I trade up to go get him. I mean, I wouldn't trade up to within the 10s, but I trade up to like 11 or 12 if possible to go get him. Yeah. But if he's not there, then I'm trading back. Because at that point, you go to your second biggest need in my opinion would probably be somewhere in the secondary group, maybe safety, corner. There's plenty of solid corners and safeties that would be available around that point. You get into the 20s. I trade back, try to get a second round pick out of the deal, maybe a third. That way, position yourself for a pretty good draft class. So that's what I would do if I was Atlanta. If my guy isn't there by the time 15 comes around, I'm trading back no matter what.
Yeah, it's just I feel like anywhere out of that my top 12 to like the bottom. Team that was like on the fringe of making the playoffs. It's weird because it's like you want a player that's gonna come in and like be a great change. You don't know what you're gonna get in that little order right there. So I'm interested to see what y'all do. I'm gonna always say this for life, bro. What if y'all would have got Justin Fields?
Nope. No, I won't say it. The reason why I won't say it. I will not say it. I won't say it. And here's why I won't say it is because I respect Justin's game. I think Justin is a terrific quarterback. I think he'll make a great Jet. I really do. I think he'll make a fantastic Jet. I don't think his level of play, given the coaching staff that Atlanta has, I don't think the way he plays would fit, what we want to do. I think looking at what Zach Robinson does, I mean, we're going to run the football, but we want a guy that's a high processor. And it's no knock to Justin's game. Justin, in my opinion, is not that high of a processor. He's not. I don't think he's up there with Penix when it comes to processing the game. I don't think he's remotely in the same conversation as Stafford. Literally watching the Rams play this past weekend, I'm like, I can see the vision. I see why they say Penix can be like Matthew Stafford. And I'm thinking like, okay, we might have a black Matthew Stafford in Atlanta. So I'm like, all right, it's there. And Matthew Stafford has a Super Bowl. I mean, it'd be different if we said like we're talking about black Matt Ryan, but like, well, black Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan don't even got a Super Bowl. So what are we having a conversation for? Stafford got him one. So it's kind of like, all right, I'll take at least one from Penix. Penix gets me one. Hey man, go ahead.
That is true.
If he gets y'all one
contract, and I'll be okay with that. Put all the cap space in his name. I don't care. Sign over the team right for him. I don't care. He wins me a Super Bowl. I'm happy for life.
One more thing before we get into the MBS. I know a lot of people got their opinions on it, and me as a running back enthusiast, I hear both arguments. Was Bijan snubbed for being a Pro Bowler?
Absolutely. I think Saquon is a fantastic running back. I think he is easily number one in the NFC. Easily number one in the NFC. Yeah. I think when you look at the top three rushers in the NFL, it goes, in my opinion, Saquon, Derek, Bijan. There's no in between with those three. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is like right behind, Bijan Robinson. I think Jahmyr is a heck of a running back. But I think just what Bijan's done in terms of his ability to run the football. I think I saw a stat where he had the most missed tackles this year. He forced the most missed tackles. That's pretty hard to do at that position, considering like how elusive you have to be, especially a guy of his size. And he's not a small guy. I mean, he's a little bit under 6 feet. I mean, he moves really well. I mean, there's times where he should be tackled for a loss or tackled for maybe a 1 or 2 yard gain. Turns into at least like a 10-yard game, 10-yard plus. And his, a game as a receiver too, coming out of the backfield. I mean, you can't – I don't think you can ask for a better back. I think he's probably the best all-around back in the NFL. But if you're just talking about a guy that can just run the football really well, I'm going to say Saquon and Derrick Henry because they're probably the most, some of the more athletic and stronger, rushers pound for pound. If you want somebody to say, hey, go get me a yard, I'm throwing those two in. I mean, even if I had, between Bijan and Tyler Algier, I'm going to say, Tyler, go get me a yard. I know you can get me one. I'm not telling Bijan to do that. But if I say, hey, Bijan, we're going to run stretch, I need you to go get us 10 yards and hit the corner and take that thing off running. Yeah, I 100% believe he's going to get me that. So, the roundabout, all that out. Yeah, I think he was snubbed. I think he's probably the second best back in the NFL this past season. Obviously, there's a lot of great running backs in the NFC. McCaffrey, he's been hurt all year, so I think obviously he takes a tumble. We already talked about Saquon. The running backs in Tampa, they're stellar. Running backs in Carolina, I'm blanking on names right now, but they've been playing well.
Chuba and Sanders play well.
Chuba had a heck of a year. Chuba had a really good year toward the end of the stretch, so I really like Chuba. But anywhere else in the NFL, I mean, the Commanders, Eckler's, he's old. There's not many people in the NFC where I'm like, okay, yeah, they got a leg on Bijan. I think Saquon's the only guy that has him right now. And I even think next season, I don't think anybody's going to be able to touch him now. It depends on what Atlanta does in the offseason.
Yeah.
I think right now, the best running back in the NFL is Saquon Barkley. But next year, I think it'll be Bijan Robinson.
I see it.
We started off with hot take.
I see it. I see it, though. I see it.
I mean,
I definitely see the vision.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of things, and we all know, we've all played the game, on the second highest level possible, and in college football. So all three of us know that the key to a really good running back is to have a really good running game with guys up front that can block for you. Yeah. So when we look at Derrick Henry, they're losing. I think they're starting left tackle, and I think another one of their offensive linemen. Then you look at the Eagles, they're losing Becton, who's been sensational at right guard. Sure. Yeah. They're going to have a hole missing there. But you look at the Falcons, they could lose their center, but both parties want them to come back. So, they want him to come back. Yeah. Drew Dalman might resign, so that shores up everything. But, I mean, looking at it, I don't see why Atlanta can't have the best, running back in the NFL. And I think that's the guy.
So who you taking off that list? You taking Gibbs off, or you taking who's Green Bay?
Jacobs.
Yeah,
Steve, I respect Jacobs' game, but I don't think Josh Jacobs was a top 5 running back. I'm not going to say he was a top 5 running back this year.
He definitely did better than I thought he would in Green Bay because
Green Bay's offensive line isn't bad. I think they've had their moments, but you look at I think maybe their playoff game before or the game before they got bounced. Yeah. They were struggling to run the football. Offensive line was struggling to get some movement up front. Jacobs kind of put the game on his back at one point. So, I'll say maybe like 8, 9 maybe. I don't think he's a top 5 back in the NFL. And, that's more against his offensive line, not getting him those holes for him to really hit that thing running.
Yeah, I think if it was me choosing the Pro Bowl running backs, I probably would have went Bijan, Gibbs, and then Saquon. Jacobs had a great year, but you gotta go. You can't just go solely based off of stats.
Exactly. You can't.
You gotta go off tape and what the players are saying. I feel like players would much rather go against Gibbs, Jacobs than Bijan. Like, and you as a defender that.
Yeah, and usually the NFL top 100 is pretty telling. When the players are voting for guys, like that's sometimes it's pretty telling. I think last year's was a little bit of a joke, but I think this year should be a little bit more serious. Yeah. Who would you not want to play against? I would hate to be a linebacker coming downfield trying to tackle Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley. Shoot, if I try to come tackle Saquon Barkley, he's probably going to do a backflip in midair and hurdle over me. So that's the type of things that he can do. Yeah. So that's just where I'm at with it. Like that's how I feel. So I think those are definitely the guys that I would not want to play against.
He poses a lot of problems, I will say. But we done dove in a little bit. Let's take it back. How we started off. MBS checking on the mental, how we feeling. How the body feeling? I know the weather has kind of permitted us a little bit. Yeah. But, you still try to work in there, of course. How'd your soul, how'd your spirit doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I just saw the email. The gym won't be opening till 7:30, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to go into like the office gym to go get a lift. Ouch! So that's like elite pain, but we can make some work, but. It's a different feeling working out with you guys, but
it is different.
So I'm a little bit upset, but it's kind of like, all right, we ball regardless. So outside of that, physically, probably the sorest I've been in a while. I think my chest is still eviscerated from today's workout. My triceps are cooked from all the pulls that I did yesterday. But outside of that, my legs feel great, so I missed leg day today. But outside of that, I feel amazing.
That's good, bro. Hey, leg day does get treacherous, so I'm not too mad about missing a day.
Nah, I ain't mad about it. But I know Unc probably wanted us to get them squats.
One thing about Unc, he gonna find a way to live. This man said he went to one life.
Yeah,
Doing the one life, yeah.
Free City, yeah, nah.
The 1 day free bet. I'm like, at least for me, I'm like, nah, I'm just not gonna go through all that. I live the next day, bro. I'm sorry.
Facts,
But, bro. I can wait. At that point, I can wait.
The gym ain't going nowhere, bro.
It's not going anywhere. I'll wait.
So for me, MBS, man, I'm pretty good mentally, bro. The snow, whenever it snows, it just makes me feel like a kid again for some reason. So the snow's been pretty cool to enjoy, even though it didn't snow as bad as it did a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty cool being in the snow with wifey today. Enjoy the vibe.
So y'all went out there, y'all built a snowman together?
No, bro. See, you jumping conclusions, bro. I never said that.
What do you mean? You said y'all played in the snow. So I'm like, y'all.
I should have said we together. We
am I wrong that for asking that?
Enjoyed the atmosphere of the
snowman together.
If I'm being completely honest, I didn't build a snowman. She made a snow angel, and that was it, bro.
That was it.
Yeah, and I was handling business while she was doing that. So
y'all didn't really play in the snow. Y'all just went out there and took some flicks and came back in. That's not
basically. That's 2025.
That's 2020. That's awful. That is.
I know it's bad. It's bad.
That's awful.
This is bad.
Yeah, but mentally, I'm good, man. I'm gonna be back in the gym tomorrow, so that'll be good. I'm working from home again tomorrow, so
nice.
Yeah, again, bro. So I mean, I'm not complaining as long as as long as my cheese coming,
right.
body wise, man, we got a lot back in. Monday we got a good lift, but
it was sensational. That was great.
Because of the weather, I ain't been able to lift for real. So we'll be back in there tomorrow getting brolic. And then spirit wise, I'm good, bro. I've been getting some good news from work. I'm gonna tell you tomorrow in the gym, Cole. But
you ain't gonna see me tomorrow in the gym. I mean,
that's right.
Tomorrow.
Well, when I see you, you'll know. I've been getting some good news from work, man, just about my future with the team and stuff, and with the company. So I've been good, bro. Just receiving the blessings from God, man. Having gratitude. And we did a vision board as a family a couple of days ago. So I've been good, bro. That's really just opened up my lens with God and just really, really appreciating what He's done for me. So
stay in that word, man.
Yeah, bro.
I promise you never go wrong with that. Stay in that word.
That's real, bro. My MBS, bro. Shoot, really just been focused, bro. Mentally, I just been focused, bro. I think I'm in this like autopilot zone now, where I kind of like being consistent and a lot of stuff, except for the weather. The weather been kind of messing that up a little bit. But just like getting myself prepared to get my master's. I think I told you about that already.
Yeah.
To get myself to get prepared, get my master's in the fall. So had to take care of that. So mentally, I'm good, bro. Just locked in, dialed in, bro. Body, bro.
How that body feeling?
I'm be honest, bro. I'm be honest. This week specifically, I skipped 2 days. Not didn't skip. Yesterday I skipped, but today I just couldn't go because the gym was closed. I had to skip 2 days, so I'm trying to get back. I'm trying to get the ball back rolling, bro. I haven't had this in a minute, bro. Usually I never miss. miss. So it was like a first time feeling. I needed a wake up again. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, cool. Let's get back to it. And but we're gonna get back right. So that's where I'm at body wise. Not too sore. You feel me?
Okay.
Then spiritually, bro, I'm just like I said, I'm just living a life of gratitude. Like just realizing I'm in a good place, bro. Sometimes I think especially in the society we live in, bro. Everybody like to compare all the time, but me personally, bro, I'm feeling good where I'm at, bro. Just trusting the process, my dog.
Let's rip the Band-Aid off, bro.
Yeah.
This weekend we had a few playoff games, bro. A lot of them hurt. Was that game? Was that loss on Lamar and only Lamar?
No, it's not only on Lamar. No, absolutely.
I'm glad we
that hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, it sucked. And let me tell you why I say it's not solely on Lamar. I've heard arguments of, well, those mistakes were made in the first half. They had overcame those mistakes, and they got into the second half. And yes, Andrews has a crucial fumble, and then he has a drop 2-point conversion that cost him the game. But I mean, again, we all three of us have played the game. We understand it's a team sport. All right, let's look back at the interception that Lamar threw. The score was already 7-7. He doesn't throw that interception. Let's say if it's an incompletion, at least buys you a little bit more time. Still got momentum on your side. And Lamar is, just crafty when it comes to, all right, if it's not there, I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to find a way to get some of these yards. All right. And so if he's able to do that, that changes the flow of the game a little bit. And who knows? They probably go down the field. They probably score a touchdown, right? So you got that one. Then you got the sack fumble that happened. All right, ball security in my opinion is job security. So you lose that. Buffalo gets the ball. They score on that drive. So you look at those two things and those two incidences. I'm like, all right, well, the whole first half, the score probably could have been 21 to whatever Buffalo had at that time. Yeah. Maybe probably a little bit less, because Buffalo doesn't score as quick. Mm-hmm. So you have that. Then you look at, I don't know if Justin Tucker. I think I didn't watch the game late because I just went and turned it off. Because I didn't at that point. I was like, all right, see how Lamar's playing. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to watch this go on any further. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I think they said Justin Tucker, he missed 2 field goals and an extra point or something like that. Mm-hmm. All right. You look at that's something that sticks out too. I mean, kickers. I'll tell you one thing, man. Guys that were really good at kicking last year, the year before that, and the year before that, they have seriously just fallen off like a cliff. These kickers have been not reliable, and it's not an easy job. I get that, but man, they have not been reliable. Yeah. So you look at that, and then now you talk about the big elephant in the room.
Yeah. And
here's the thing: when you're a playmaker, you want to find a way to make a play. Because you can't tell me, both of you guys are skilled players. Yeah. If you catch the ball and no one's necessarily around you, or there's a guy getting ready to make a tackle on you, you're going to find a way to make him miss, and you're going to find a way to get upfield to pick up some more yards. Your initial thought isn't, all right, let me just catch this and get down, or let me catch this and then just get vertical. You're going to be like, I feel somebody coming. Let me make sure I don't get hit. Mm-hmm. So, I don't fault him for that. But I do fault him for not taking care of the football because that's a huge thing. And then the 2-point conversion, could Lamar throw the better ball? Yes. But my rule is anytime if you're a receiver, the ball hits you in the hands, you have to catch the football. No matter how bad it's thrown, it hits you in the hands, you ring that thing in. Especially for him, he was wide open. He catches that. He sits. Hey, that's 2 points in there. They're going to overtime. And, Lord knows how that game goes. So – is Lamar at fault? Yes. Is he the only person at fault? Absolutely not. There's a lot of people we can point blame at. Yeah. We can say that somebody didn't have the right they weren't having the right technique. Yeah. And trailing some of these receivers on Buffalo. We can say that whoever the spy was, how do you let Josh Allen get loose? We can say that Ronnie Stanley or any of those other offensive linemen, how do you lose on your block? You can't lose on these blocks. On these run plays. Derrick Henry, he didn't really get going until late in the game. So those are all things that we can point the finger at, and it's very easy to point the finger at the quarterback, but he's only, partially to blame. I don't think he gets all of it, but he definitely gets at least, 20% of it because his play in the first half was inexcusable of somebody that we're talking about was an MVP candidate.
Yeah. Do you think he still wins MVP?
Absolutely not. I think Josh Allen takes it now.
Wow. You think so?
Josh Allen takes it because you think about it. You look at that game. That game, was, in my opinion, was for MVP because the way Josh played, no turnovers, he took care of the football. He was the ultimate game manager that game.
He was.
Bro, we were just talking about that, bro.
Yeah, did Lamar put up more numbers? Oh, yeah, he put up way better. He put up more numbers, yeah. But Lamar didn't take care of the football. He had a fumble and an interception. The 2 things that quarterbacks can't have, he had in a game like that. So, you're going to say that, I'm going to give Josh Allen. I think Josh has earned that one. I think he has. I think Lamar did a great job of being in second place in that one, and he's earned the last 2 MVP awards, but I think they're going to give it to Josh. Now it's going to come down to, especially if they beat Kansas City this weekend, you're going to say it's Josh Allen's the MVP.
Yeah, at that point, if he does beat Mahomes, I think you gotta give it to him. You can't really say too much about
you beat
that.
The NFL boogeyman. You get an MVP.
Yeah, man, it's just like, bro, it hurts so bad because it's like this was supposed to be like the year he got all his get back, all of it. Like you beat the Bills because you lost to them in the playoffs before. Mm-hmm. You beat the Chiefs because you lost to them last year, and then whoever they would have played in the Super Bowl, I would have liked their chances anyway. So it's like, I don't believe this to be true, but some people are like, oh, his window might be closed to win a Super Bowl. I'm like, no.
I was just going to talk about that.
You're crazy. He's only in year 7.
And I saw the best thing I could see in regards to that. Peyton Manning didn't win a Super Bowl within his first 7 years. So Lamar hasn't either. So I mean, it's not close. I think anybody can win a Super Bowl later on in their career. I mean, look at Matthew Stafford.
Yeah,
he was with the Lions for a good majority of his career. He gets traded over to the Rams, and they win the Super Bowl in that year. So I mean, anything is possible. You know, it just takes a little bit of time, and I think that you keep. If you can keep your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator, you build on, this past season, and you find a way to keep some of your core pieces, and then you kind of replace guys that need to be replaced, sign back the guys that need to be back. You can make another run at it. I mean, I think they have a good shot to do it again. I just, it just doesn't get easier. You're never guaranteed to be back. And I mean, we can look at the Lions, for example. The Lions, you lose both your coordinators in the same week. Your offensive coordinator is now your division rival, and your defensive coordinator is now a Jet. So you lose both of those guys, and now you got to say, like, all right, well, who are we going to replace these two guys with? I don't know if anyone is as creative as Ben Johnson is offensively. I don't know if they find a guy that can replace him. They might, but I don't think it's the same.
I don't know what OCs is out there that they could pick up, or like any guys they can bring up under them that's already on the team.
Well, you got to look internally, though. And even internally, there's no guarantee that the next guy is going to be better than the last one. Just so happens with Tampa Bay, at least Liam Cohen, it seems like he might be as good or maybe a little bit better than Dave Canales, who's in Carolina. It felt like it worked out that way. And maybe it could work out that way in Detroit. But, there's no guarantee. So does Detroit get as close as they did? Probably not. Do they make it back? Probably not to the divisional, maybe. Maybe they're a wild card team, this time around. I don't know.
You think their window's closed to like
I don't think any window is closed. I think the only time a window is closed is if you're guaranteed not to get back certain players. I think there's certain players that dictate if the window is still open or if it's closed. If you have your franchise quarterback, if he's not there anymore, the window's closed. If you still have your franchise quarterback and he's still playing at a top 5 level or a top 10 level, you're never necessarily out of the fight. The window is still open no matter what.
Yeah.
The way I see it, bro, is he has the players now, bro, so he has to utilize those players while he has them. You know what I'm saying? It's like he can't wait on another round of guys to come through. You know what I mean? To come through the team for him to get that ring, bro. I think he'll still get it, but he has to utilize the weapons he has now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether he has them for 2-3 years, however long it is, he has to do it within that time span. I think that's what people were getting at when they're saying his window is closing. They were saying like he's going to run out of the ability. He's just saying like the group of guys he had in this window, he has to get it now. That's what it means.
Well, here's the thing about that, though. I mean, we can say that, but there's always going to be a receiver or a running back that's going to be far better than the ones that you have. I mean, we talk about how coaches have that mentality, especially in college. Like we're going to out recruit, who we have. Like we're going to bring in better than what we have. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
So let's say if Lamar is he retires a Raven, and you look at Lamar at age 32 or 33. Zay Flowers isn't there anymore. He doesn't have Bateman anymore, and he has some other run-of-the-mill receivers, but one's a speed demon and the other one's a fantastic route runner. And he may not have Andrews anymore, but he has another tight end that at least is clutch enough to make those catches in crunch time. Then we're having the same conversation all over again. Like, oh, the window's there again. Yeah. So it's just a matter of can your general manager bring in the right guys, and then can your coaches execute the game plan and make sure they have the right game plan for players to execute. And then it's like, hey, can the players execute the game plan? Because I'll put it like this: the Chargers, there's no way and no reason the Chargers should have been in the playoffs. Wait, are they in the playoffs? I don't think they were.
They was. They lost in the
playoffs. I didn't think the Chargers should have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Chargers had a good enough team to be in the playoffs.
I knew they
had the players to get there. And you think like, oh, they don't have Keenan Allen anymore? Okay, Quentin Johnson ain't really like that anyway. They don't have Austin Eckler anymore. But hey, credit to Justin Herbert and the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. They found a way. Ladd McConkey, I mean, he looked like a complete dude.
I gotta give it to Ladd. I know he had that in him to be like.
I think Ladd had it in him. I mean, that was wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert.
That's true.
And you know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily like, okay, the window's closed. No, the window's never closed. Once you make it to the playoffs, anything can happen. Guys can get hurt, they can get injured. Next thing you know, they're out for the rest of the year. It just comes down to, how can we make sure that we put the best team around our guys for them to be successful? So I just think that I don't think the window's necessarily closed. And then another thing too is like when it comes down to money, you talk about the salary cap. Yeah, that can close a window though. I see the argument for that because guys want, top, I'm the top player in my position type money. Then that window's gonna close mighty quickly because then you got to restructure, you got to retool everything. Yeah. So, but I don't think the window's closed for Lamar. I think the window's still wide open. I just think, they just got to get back their core pieces. You get back the core pieces, some guys are replaceable no matter what.
Yeah, that's valid. The whole hood was let down when he lost. And then we'll get into this next, bro. This is crazy to say, but we might have a rookie in the Super Bowl. A rookie quarterback.
And you know what?
That's crazy.
I'm all for it.
And the thing is, as crazy as the comment sounds in any other year, if you've been watching the playoffs, the Commanders can for sure beat the Eagles and whoever they will play from the AFC. I can see them beating the Bills. I can see them beating the Chiefs. That's the thing. It's not crazy. So what do you think about that?
I think it's very possible. I would love to see the Commanders playing in the Super Bowl. Yeah. Can they beat the Eagles? They've done it. Now, was it without Jalen Hurts? Yes. Yeah. Can they beat them with Jalen Hurts? Well, is his leg okay from that game last weekend? Can he run? Can he throw off of that leg? I mean, if that's his throwing leg, then can he plant? We don't know. So I think it's very possible. I think Jayden Daniels, man, I feel like that was the perfect situation for him to be in Washington. I felt like
that is true.
Did you foresee this though? Did you foresee him being the best one out of all of them?
I thought, if anything, they were probably going to go 5-12 this year. I think that's how I originally thought they were going to do. I thought the Bears would probably have the much better season compared to any rookie quarterback that we were thinking was going to start the year off. I thought it was going to be the Bears. I thought Caleb Williams had the most, to work with on offense, weapons wise, but the offensive line was just, abysmal. So. He was doing the same things he was doing at Southern California, which was extending plays out of the pocket and, hoping for the best. Yeah, he still had really good stat numbers. I think he only had like 4 picks or something like that. Some crazy number of interceptions that wasn't even that high. So he played fantastic, had a great touchdown to interception ratio. But I was a little disappointed in the way it turned out, which is the reason why they had to hire a new head coach. So, I with Jayden, I thought it was going to be a little bit of a learning curve of him learning not to – run with the ball every single time. He's going to learn how to slide. He's going to have to do all these things. Yeah. But, I mean, he got popped one good time, I think, earlier this year, messed up his ribs, came back, and, hasn't looked back. He's unfazed by the moment. And I feel like 24-year-old quarterbacks, if they still exist in college football, you may want to consider having one on your roster because they seem like they're much more poised for the moment.
Yeah. It's crazy because last year – we had C.J. Stroud. We hadn't seen a rookie year like that from a quarterback in a while. For like a rookie quarterback to lead your team to the playoffs, that's not normal. That's not ordinary at all. Yeah. Then we get to this year, and probably people are thinking that Caleb Williams has the best chance to do that. And then you had Jayden Daniels. I think it was after the Giants game. It was like week 4, week 5. I was watching there. Came back and beat the Giants. Of course, it's the Giants. But it was like the way he played, and they ended up winning, I think, in overtime. I was like, they might have some here, and then they went on the run. And then they had a little lull in the middle of the year, but then they finished the year strong. So it's like, I could actually see him going to the Super Bowl and winning. That's not unrealistic at all. Like, if you've been watching, it's very plausible. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it's very plausible. I mean, I think this is probably one of the more exciting teams to watch. I think that's probably a really good matchup to play against the Eagles. I mean, if you want to look on the other side of the conference, and between Patrick and Josh, I think that's going to be pay-per-view TV at its finest. I mean, I don't know who's going to win that game. I do like the Chiefs, to win it, but I don't know who's going to win it. I just feel like it's hard to win in Arrowhead. And I feel like Josh could do it this time. He might be able to do it finally. I don't know, but I think either way, when you get to the Super Bowl, man, I would love to see Jayden Daniels do something that no rookie quarterback has ever done in ever in history is to win a Super Bowl, win Rookie of the Year, and just play outstanding and just basically play on an all-pro level. I think he has the best chance to do that.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting. It's gonna be an interesting Sunday. I think they play. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Commanders Eagles they play first on Sunday, and then the Bills and the Chiefs. So I'm gonna be locked in for that. I mean, if I'm being honest, either one of them. I don't want to see the Bills win. I don't want to see the Chiefs win. The Eagles or the Commanders. Two brothers.
Yeah.
Fighting again in the Super Bowl. I love it. If I was a betting man. If I was a betting man, bro, the Eagles they struggled a little bit against the Rams, but that D-line for the Rams is really good. Like, really,
that's a great defensive line. Great.
If I had to put some money down, I think even with the way the Commanders look, I think I go Eagles just because they've been here before.
Been there before. That's fair. That's fair. That's a fair.
And when in doubt, feed 2-6.
Yeah.
When in doubt, just feed him the rock. I think he'd get it done for you, bro. Especially in Philly, especially if the weather is a little bit like it was last week. I can't see the Commanders pulling off an upset.
That's a very fair statement to say. I feel like the Eagles could win that game. But I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like Jayden Daniels' story is over yet this year. I think it's about to get really interesting. And they win that, and then you play. Let's say they do play against the NFL boogeyman and Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Find a way to win that game, and that's the giant killer. It's in DC, and it's in the form of Jayden Daniels. So I mean, that's the conversation we're having right now. And I would have told you when the playoffs started, I was like, "There's no way."
Nah.
If the Commanders play the Lions, there's no way they make it past Detroit.
I didn't even see them getting past Tampa Bay.
I knew they made. I had a feeling they could beat Tampa Bay, but I did not have a feeling they would dismantle the Lions the way they did. That was a complete dismantling of the Lions.
That one hurt me, bro. That
hurt.
I was just like, bro, like. So, like, the way the game had started, I was like, okay, they're going to go back and forth for a little minute, and then Detroit's going to take over going into the third quarter. But then Commanders just kept coming back, and even with Detroit putting up all the points, this kind of been their problem the whole year. Their defense, which is solid, they couldn't get the stops when they, like, needed them in those big moments. Because a lot of their losses was high-scoring games. Like, back when they played the Bills, like, week 12 or week 13, it was a high scoring game. So like it wasn't a matter of putting up the points, it was a matter of stopping the key stops, not always on them, but key stops when you could get that lead to like 10 points or the possession game. They couldn't really do it.
I mean, until you take away all the injuries they had on defense, I mean, who knows how that game would have turned out.
This might be crazy, but it is what it is. They have Aiden. If they have all their players healthy, right? Let's just say that. I don't see them losing, to be honest.
I don't either. I think they probably had the best NFL roster this year, and they just couldn't stay healthy. So now they're bounced out the playoffs and at home with us, watching to see who's going to win.
Watching to see.
Cancun on 3.
Cancun on 3. Hey, man. So we staying on the topics of playoffs. What you think of that national championship game, the Irish versus Ohio State?
I knew Ohio State was going to win that game. There was no question about it. To be real with you, I didn't even watch the game until maybe right before halftime. I think that's when Ohio State went up 28-7. I watched a little bit of it coming out the break just to see if Notre Dame was going to get it together. And then Ohio State went up 31-7. I was like, all right. I don't need to watch this anymore. I'm turning this off. And then, next day, Notre Dame puts up a fight, and they're like, hey, they had a chance to come back. I think they only lost like 16 or something, or 12 or something like that.
If you were an Ohio State fan, you definitely was getting nervous because the way they kept driving down the field, number one. I don't know who that is, number one, the receiver for Notre Dame, but he was getting active. So, I'm just glad they made it interesting because a blowout, I wasn't for that, bro.
No, no one's ever for a blowout, but I mean, like from a player's perspective, you hope for a blowout, but in that case, for entertainment value, you kind of want it to be close. But there was no question in my mind that Ohio State was going to win that game. I think when you stack up, them compared to Notre Dame, you look at the quarterback position. I thought Will Howard had a much better season than Riley Leonard. I think Riley Leonard. didn't really show up as a true like dual threat. Well, he did show up as a true dual threat quarterback throughout the year, but he never really showed that other part of the dual element where he can really sling the ball around. And he had some really good plays this past season. So I mean, it's a matter of can you win as a passer too? I feel like that's a component that's slept on in the game of football these days. We have so many athletes all over the field, and we forget that you still got to win throwing the football too. I mean, you can run the football really well, which Notre Dame did. I feel like that was the missing piece for that team to be super successful this year was you got to be able to throw the football. And I feel like at times they didn't do that enough. And that's the reason why, they're the second best team in the 2024 season because they didn't. I don't feel like they didn't throw the football enough, and they weren't great at doing that. And so Ohio State, I mean, we talk about Jeremiah Smith. I mean, he's just sensational. I thought him and Ryan Williams, I thought out of those two freshmen, that's some of the most electric level of football play I've seen from wide receivers probably all year, especially as true freshmen. I thought that was just beautiful football from both of them. Yeah. Both of those guys, those kids are going to be first round picks when it's their time. When it's time for them to go to the NFL.
He's so different.
He's different. I mean, you got three guys. Sometimes you got guys covering him. They're going to have to bracket him. They're going to have to do whatever they can to stop him. But I mean, he's fast. He's a big body. I mean, he's the next great Ohio State receiver when it's time for him to go. I mean, we talk about Emeka Ibuka, who's another really good receiver. Yeah. Carnell Tate will be another great one. But Jeremiah Smith, I mean, I think he's the guy that I feel like everybody was talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. I think all that hype really fits him. I really do. I don't think it fit Marvin. I think it fits Jeremiah. I think he's that good. Yeah. So, I felt like, just offensively, I felt like Ohio State just outmatched Notre Dame. And defensively, I felt like they just had the better, front seven. And Notre Dame has a really good front seven as well. They got a great defense, but I just felt like they just couldn't contend with Ohio State's, firepower. So I wasn't surprised by the outcome. Do I feel like those were probably the best two teams at the end of it? Absolutely. Yeah. So I do think that there's an argument for strength of schedule, and then there's also an argument of, if you're winning, then you're winning. So it'd be interesting to see how the committee handles things going forward. Because there's arguments for both sides. The SEC let everybody down. Thought having Texas as your best option was not ideal. If you're an SEC team, that was not it. I mean, Georgia, you lose Carson Beck, who I thought was very average this year. I don't think he really makes a huge difference. Maybe they do win that game against Notre Dame. But I was not sold on Georgia at all either. So I mean, we'll see how next year goes. But that was a pretty easy understanding that Ohio State was going to get that done.
Is UGA's dominance over? I know we got a UGA fan in here. I wouldn't say the window's closed, but Big Ten has made like a statement, like we're not really trying to hear all that SEC stuff.
Go ahead, Matt.
I think it's like honestly, I think it's like a SEC like reset right now. That's what everybody's going. It's like a reset on like power, basically power distribution. So like I don't say our window's closing or like we fell off, but like it's like it used to just be clearly one alpha or at least two alphas in the SEC. Now it's five. So, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to really, you know what I'm saying? It's like it's not as big of a monopoly no more. So it makes us look like we fell off, but the whole time it's just everybody's kind of like on even playing field in the SEC right now. So that's what I think, bro.
I mean, it's definitely I think if I still had to pick two teams to come to like battle it out to come out of the SEC, probably gonna be Texas and you guys again. I think Bama will be better. I think Bama will definitely be better. I'm trying to think who else in the SEC. Texas A&M was solid, but I can't really see them getting close again like they did this past season. What you think, Cole?
So I don't think either of those two teams will play for the SEC championship next year.
Talk to me.
I don't see it.
Talk to me.
I feel like the best two teams, if the season were to start today, I feel like South Carolina is probably one of the better teams in the SEC. And I also think Florida's going to make a jump next season.
I think Florida makes that like that. Florida to be one of the best teams in the SEC.
I mean, I'll put it like this: watching Florida, go from Graham Mertz, to I'm blanking on the kid's name right now, but to go into the younger quarterback, black kid, he played outstanding football. I think if he doesn't get hurt in that game against Georgia, I think Florida wins that football game. To be frank with you, South Carolina, I mean they figured it out. Lenore Sellers, he's a guy. Beat Clemson in a huge rivalry game, and I feel like those two teams are probably two of the better teams in the SEC. And of course, then you got Georgia, then you got Alabama. Then you got Texas. I think Texas could be the team that still sticks around in the West.
That's where Arch is going to be looking a little different.
If we got to see how Arch does in the full, really in the full game as the guy and not just the backup guy that gets in. Yeah. So, I feel like it could be South Carolina or Florida versus like a Texas if we're still going like East and West. Okay. I don't think A&M is there just yet. I'm curious to see what A&M will do coming back. I thought they had a solid season. This obviously just didn't work out well. Ole Miss, I don't know what they have at quarterback, so I don't know what the Lane Kiffin offense will look like. Defensively, I mean, they have some dudes on that team. I will say that. Yeah. Arkansas, it's Arkansas. Vandy could show up. They got Diego back, so Diego could ruin some seasons. I don't know. Yeah. But outside of that, no, I think the best two teams that are going to shock everybody could be South Carolina and Florida.
You heard it here first. I mean, that's definitely not out of the realm. I definitely see the South Carolina, but the Florida one, I'm still, resistant. We'll see.
And that's fine. I expect that to be the one that everyone's like, I don't know. But go back and watch those games. Watch the game against Georgia before the quarterback gets hurt. You'll be like, oh, Florida probably could have won that football game. Because I'll put it like this. It wasn't anything really that Florida was doing. It was just that Georgia was playing so bad offensively and defensively, they just could not figure it out. But with Florida, they found ways to gash their defense, and they were making plays when they needed to. So I think Florida, full offseason, the quarterback getting adjusted to the offense, to the receivers, I feel like they take that next step. I don't think Florida's back. Yeah, but I for sure think they're going to be a team that you kind of got to be like, all right, we can't joke around with Florida.
Valid. So before we get up out of here, man, we're gonna do a little mock draft. So we'll do the top 10 picks. So you'll basically you'll be the GM for all these teams. And we'll see what you would do, man. So let's go ahead and get this up. Hold on 1 second.
You're gonna let me know who my players are too. This is gonna be great.
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
I've been doing mock drafts literally like almost every other day, so this is fun for me.
All right, hold on.
Don't even give me top 10. Give me all the way until whoever's left.
Okay, bet.
Before we get to the Commanders, you can stop me there, or you can let me do the whole first round. I don't care.
Okay, bet. All right,
I'm on the clock.
You're on the clock, sir.
All right. And I'll explain this pick a little bit.
Okay.
As a team that has shown a lot of promise, we just fired our general manager. And I feel like we have something here. I feel like we can be a really talented football team. I think we have the makings to be really good. But am I really sold about this quarterback class? So I got to think about it here, and I'm going to say I'll rather see what my options are if I wanted to trade down first. Who can we trade with that makes sense, right? Yeah. Who can we get some capital? I see the trade options, let's see what we can trade with.
All right, let's look at the trade options. You got
the Giants. We're not trading with the Giants.
Yeah,
we're not going to trade with them. We're not going to trade with the Patriots, but we are going to consider Vegas. We will consider Vegas.
Okay.
And we're kind of like, all right, we're not in love with every quarterback here. I mean, if we were to take a quarterback, it'd probably be Shedeur Sanders, but do we really want to take a quarterback right now?
Yeah.
Do we feel like we're a quarterback away from being really competitive?
Okay.
And that's the case. If we're saying yes, and I will say yes right now,
okay,
I'm drafting Cam Ward.
Cam Ward is the one first off the board. If I do think I don't think Shadur and the Sanders family would mind going to Tennessee. It just who does Tennessee want and what type of offense they're gonna run.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, I think Cam Ward is probably the best quarterback in his draft class.
Okay. Matt, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of
keep it a B. Which quarterback you think is the better QB of the two?
No, yeah, this can't work. This can't work.
Okay.
If I'm being realistic, I wanted to give an argument, but if I'm being realistic, this can't work.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we got the Browns with the number 2 pick, and I have seen like literally all today and like yesterday, the Browns might go, best player available and not just quarterback.
They could. But you told Myles Garrett you're going to keep him because you have a plan. So we're going to trade back. No matter what, we're trading back. Right. I don't think we get a quarterback in this class. If anything, I think in the offseason we may sign Sam Darnold to be our quarterback if Deshaun can't go. So we're going to trade this pick. We're going to trade it with the Raiders.
Got it. Okay. We trading with the Raiders.
We're going to trade with the Raiders.
All right.
And we're going to trade back. We're going to pick up their second round pick. But in this case, we're not subscribed, so we can't force a trade. But
all right, so if there's no trade, we can't trade.
So there's no trade. But if this was happening right now, I'm trading back. And what I'm doing, I don't think the Browns necessarily need to draft a quarterback in the first round. I don't think that's where they need to be. So I feel like you go get a guy that can cause havoc.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. And I think you go and get Abdul Carter.
Yeah, I think I knew where you were going with that one.
I think you go and get him.
I like that, especially like you were saying. They get rid of Garrett. You need another guy to come in and fill that edge rusher.
Well, if you keep Garrett, you want to maximize your defensive potential. So might as well get two guys that and help put Garrett in more one-on-one situations. Could you imagine having Abdul and Myles Garrett on the same side? Myles is playing more of a 3, and then Abdul is playing a complete edge.
That's a lot for OC to handle.
Yeah,
it's hard to block. That's very hard.
That's a lot for OC, bro. That's a lot for OC.
So now we're at the number 3 pick.
Oh yeah,
obviously they need a quarterback.
Yeah, you're calling Shador.
Got it.
It's that time. It's that time. We're bringing them New York neighbors.
All right. Yeah. So how well of a mess do you think that is with Shadur in that offense and them players that they got? Neighbors, you got number 17, Wandell. You got some key pieces there that you could have a good squad.
I don't think Shador should start the year off. I don't think he is going to be ready to do that. I think it would do him justice to sit him. I think you go bring a quarterback in that can run the offense, that can pick those things up. So, I mentioned maybe, the Browns may get Sam Darnold. The Giants could go get Sam Darnold. They could go get Justin Fields. They can go get Russell Wilson. I mean, they have choices. There's some quarterbacks that are going to be in this free agency class. I think you go and get, and you let Shador learn from them. So I don't think you throw Shador out there into the fire. If Tennessee were to draft him first, I still think you don't throw him out there. Okay. But it just depends on that offense, and it depends on what Coach Callahan would. Can he make it digestible for Shador, or if he can make it digestible for Cam? If he does, then you start him. But if he doesn't, if they don't get it instantly, you sit them, let them learn a little bit, and then you go from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like, but I like Shadur. I feel like he fits in New York. I will say.
I think he does too. I do too.
So next we got the Patriots. I really don't know where they're going to go, to be honest.
Well, we got a young guy in Drake May. That we know is the future of this franchise. We have all this money. We have over 100, I think 130 million, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more to play with. Okay, so let's say hypothetically we address the receiver room. We bring in T. Higgins, so we don't need to go get a receiver.
Okay.
We rebuild the offensive line a little bit. We go get Ronnie Stanley, who's a free agent that's with the Baltimore Ravens, so it takes away the tackle need. There's no guard that I feel like you should go get, and you're not going to spend a top 4 pick on Ashton Genty. You don't go do that, right?
Yeah.
So now you got to consider like, okay, well, what do we need to go get? What can we continue to build on? So you go get another big name. You bring him in, somebody that's used to playing a little bit colder weather.
Okay.
Guy that kind of has that same flair that Deion Sanders had when he was playing. So you bring in Travis Hunter.
Got it.
You draft him.
Okay.
And you figure out like, okay, you can play corner and you can play receiver. Yeah. And there's an argument to why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But there's an argument of why you should.
Yeah.
And I feel like you can have a guy that can do both. Now it's on Vrabel and the offensive coordinator who was been there before. He's been the head coach. Can you utilize him the best way possible?
Yeah.
We'll find out. But I go with Travis if he's there.
But wait a minute. What? We let a Heisman winner drop to the 4th pick though?
It's off a need though, bro. He's not going to the Giants. They need a quarterback.
I mean, I'll put it like this: the Browns have an argument to go get Travis Hunter. As well. They have an argument too. They have a legit argument to get Travis Hunter there. I just think that you want to reshort, like you want to just go ahead and have your next like alpha edge rusher for the next decade. So that's the reason why I'm saying. I mean, I can switch 4 and 2. I can switch those two.
Definitely,
I could switch those two, and I'd be okay with it.
Okay.
When is something like that happened before, like where the Heisman dropped past top 3 picks?
When the last time? Well, when
I'm just thinking about that.
Johnny won his sophomore year, but he went out his junior year. He dropped all the way to 20. So we think about Heisman winners. Who else? Who won Heisman? What was that? 2 years ago? Because of course, last year Jayden Daniels went top 2. The year before that, who won a Heisman the year before?
Bryce. I think Bryce won.
Yeah, Bryce went number 1.
Bryce.
No. Did Bryce win the Heisman?
Well, Bryce won his sophomore year and then entered his junior year.
Yeah.
It's probably not often, but you got to think based off of needs,
Yeah.
And I think, and the thing here's the thing about Travis Hunter. He's a sensational football player, but I don't think he's number 1. I don't think he's the number 1 wide receiver, and I don't think he's the number 1 corner. But he can do both.
Yeah.
And I think he's a dynamic receiver. I think he's really good. So I think you just go ahead and get another weapon for Drake May, or you get another guy that you can have opposite of Christian Gonzalez, who has been sensational as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like you can't miss on that pick.
Yeah. I like that pick. I like him more at receiver. That's probably just the offense in me. But I definitely think if he go wherever he goes, he's going to play both. It just depends what the team needs out of him. So like with him going to the Patriots, I think he'll play more receiver because they don't have that dominant guy. So what does it hurt you to at least try to see if he could be your receiver 1? Like what does it hurt you? Because you already got a corner, you already got a CB1. Of course, that would be great to put him beside him. But what do you need him more at? And that with the Patriots, I say receiver.
I agree.
So, we got the Jags on the clock next.
All right. We've all played against Trevor Lawrence throughout our football careers. High school for all 3 of us, and in college for me. Yeah. Let's go get offensive lineman.
Okay.
Let's go help him out. Let's give him some more protection.
I like that.
We're gonna go
tackle or
we're going tackle.
Okay.
And we're gonna get the best offensive lineman available, Will Campbell.
Got it. I like that pick.
I think
you gotta help out Trevor because he's been a little bit of a struggle a little bit, but I can't put all that on him.
And he has a little bit of a Joe Thomas, who's a legendary left tackle for the Browns. Will Campbell kind of gives me that feeling. That's a franchise left tackle or a franchise tackle in general. Some people think he's going to play guard. He probably could do that. So, I mean, I think that's where you go get there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then to be honest, he's not in a horrible situation. Like you have a true number 1 with Brian Thomas now. You hope to get ETN healthy. I would probably still go get a running back, maybe like third round, just help out a little bit. They're not in a bad position to shake back next year, especially if they help out that defense a little bit in the draft as well.
Yeah.
So we got Las Vegas, who we thought earlier in the year we thought there was gonna be a top 2 pick and get Shadur, but obviously they're probably not gonna get either of the top 2 picks unless they do trade up. So we'll see what happens. But what you thinking right now, Cole?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, if I were the Browns, I'd trade for this pick. But since we're not in this one, Raiders, I think you go get a. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks that are left.
Okay.
All right. And who do I think can really do something here? You don't want to overspend for a quarterback. I think they'll be in position to go get themselves a quarterback next year. So we're not going to go quarterback. We're going to go to corners, and we're going to go ahead and get Will Johnson out of Michigan.
Okay. I like that.
Get a lockdown guy. Do you have him over there? He helps the defense out, makes them stronger to where you can play with really good teams if they can't score. And then you're in tight ball games. So, I mean, you can win by just kicking field goals. The Steelers showed it earlier this year they can do that. So, very possible.
Hey, so I can't remember who I was talking to the other day. I think it was Justin. He was saying I could see low. You know what happened last year with JJ McCarthy? How let's be honest here. If he didn't win the Natty, would he have ended up in the first round? Do you think the same could happen with the quarterback out of Ohio State this year?
No.
Okay.
I think Jackson Dart has a better chance, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. That's valid.
It's taking a long time for Will Johnson to go to the Raiders, and he may not.
Yeah. So all right, we'll put out some names. We'll finish out the top 10. We'll just see what you think because I know you got some names in your head. So of course the Jets are up next. What do you think they do?
You lose your defensive coordinator. So you want to get a guy that can, help you in the back end. That's really good in coverage. Obviously, you lose probably one of the better defensive backs with Will Johnson. So I go with Benjamin Morrison, cornerback from Notre Dame. That would probably be my pick for the Jets.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. Panthers up next. They say their needs is D-line and DB, but I think they should try to get a receiver. Maybe TT out of Arizona if he's still on the board. But
he is still on the board, and you read my mind. That would be my pick there. You give Bryce another big target, a receiver that can do it all. I think you got to go get him. I think that it'll help Bryce out tremendously. It'll take his game to another level.
Okay. I like that. I think honestly, this might be crazy to take. I think Bryce takes a leap next year. He might be a Pro Bowler next year. I'm just saying.
I think he has his swagger back. I don't see it right now.
That's not a crazy take.
So Falcons fans, y'all. Watch out for that.
Well, we can still get them BTA once we get our defense fixed. Anywho.
All right, we got two picks left in what we doing. So you got the Saints. They're kind of in a weird spot. Like they start off the year hot and then just got completely cold. I feel like they need a quarterback, but maybe you want to wait another year. So I don't know what they go with the pick.
Well, the thing about them is, with quarterback Derek Carr showed a lot of promise in the offense that they were running, but coordinator is gone, so they don't have a head coach right now, and I believe it could be Mike McCarthy. I think that could be their guy. So let's say Mike McCarthy is the head coach, and it's kind of like, all right, we have Christian Olave. We don't know if we're going to have Rashid Shaheed next season, who's a speedster. So we need to figure out what do we have on this offense that can make us successful. And they say the needs: wide receiver, tight end, defensive line.
Yeah,
I think you got to upgrade in different positions. I think you got to fix certain things. I'm going to say they do stick with wide receiver. And I think they go. I think they go get Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State.
See Emeka going top 10.
I go get him. I think Jeremiah Smith definitely took the show this season. I feel like he's a fantastic receiver. And obviously, again, you have Jeremiah Smith on your team who's playing outstanding. It's hard for you to shine too. But I think you have two Ohio State guys now on your team. When you get, you bring Emeka on, you have Chris Olave. That's a nasty duo to have together.
Yeah.
You give Derek Carr some weapons. I think the offensive line for the Saints isn't terrible. Could they be better? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I feel like they can do some damage with him though. So I'm gonna go with Emeka Ibuka at 9.
All right. So last pick for us for the night. The Bears, I think it's pretty simple where they go. You got your receivers. You got a solid running back with Swift. You go O-line, in my opinion.
Yes, you're giving Kelvin Banks Jr. out of Texas.
Yep. Okay.
You help protect your quarterback. So that's what I do.
Okay. I like that. I definitely think the Bears will be better next year. I'm not gonna say I'm sold because I've seen great OCs and DCs go be a head coach and it just doesn't transfer because like we know head coaches, you got a lot more on your plate than what's getting called on the field. Like it's a lot of things going on. So we don't know how Ben is gonna be as a head coach.
Yeah.
We will see. And I ain't gonna lie, as a player for Detroit, it's all love for if my OC or DC leave. If I take it personal, you go to a division rival. That's just me.
Yeah, and I feel like Caleb Williams is definitely going to be in a good spot just in terms of creativity that Ben Johnson's going to bring. But again, it's kind of like, will it be their time or will they be like a 9-8 team? And it's kind of like, well, first year you kind of learn, you live and you learn, and maybe the Packers end up running the division or Minnesota could run a division. I mean, we saw what they can do with Sam Darnold. So you tell me JJ McCarthy can't do the same thing? And maybe not better.
Yeah.
We don't know. So I mean, it could be those. It could be those two teams. I mean, Detroit might say, you know what, we don't lose a step. We're still the best team in football, even though we lost. In the second round of the playoffs. But I don't know. But I don't know. So I think the Bears could be 9-8. I think that makes sense for them to go 9-8.
Yeah.
Maybe they might play a little bit better than that. But at the moment, I just feel like 9-8 probably the better start for them in the Ben Johnson era.
Okay. I like that. It's definitely – this season isn't over yet, but next year is definitely going to be exciting because you got some people that's probably going to go some different places. I'm excited to see what Travis does. We haven't seen a player in a long time actually play both ways. Yep. So I'm excited to see what happens with that, bro. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of talent on that team, and it's a lot to be excited for. And big things are coming for a lot of these teams that are in the top 10 picks. Mm-hmm. Some of them are not going to be able to go get that quarterback that they want, but they could find a quarterback as a steal later on in the draft. I mean, some people think Jalen Milroe could be a guy. I don't see it. Some people think Jackson Dart could be a guy, which he could. Some people might think Will Howard could be a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
all about situation, man. You never know. Like, because if we being real, like we said, I didn't think Jayden Daniels was gonna be this. I didn't see this, bro.
Yeah, and no one would have thought Brock Purdy would be the franchise looking like the franchise quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers.
Me as a Broncos fan, I didn't think Bo Nix was gonna lead us to the playoffs, but
see.
So a lot will be seen with where these quarterbacks go. I am interested to see wherever Jalen Milroe goes, like who's going to be mentoring him because I don't think he'll start the beginning of the season wherever he goes. So I'm just interested to see like where they put him, what OG quarterback they pair him up with.
Yeah, depending on what happens with the Steelers, I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up in Pittsburgh.
Have like Russ. Okay. That's not bad.
That could be the pick. I mean, and they could decide to draft him in the first round and sit him, and they do the whole Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers treatment. It could happen. I don't think they should. I think Jalen Milroe is probably a day 3 pick, maybe a 3rd round pick at best. Yeah. So,
okay. Hey man, like we said, bro, we appreciate you having on the pod again, bro.
Of course.
I had to unload a lot of emotion from this weekend, bro. Detroit, our old teammate lost with Detroit. Lamar lost, so like, man, it is what it is. Who wins?
A lot of pain this week.
A lot of pain, bro. But we appreciate you hopping on, bro. Much love, man.
Yes, sir.
make sure y'all keep tuning in to the shorts, the YouTube shorts, the TikTok videos, the Instagram reels, man. You know, we trying to grind it, you know, build a bigger supporting base. But we do appreciate everybody that's here that's been tuned in for all the 57 episodes, man. It's much love.
Go ahead, follow all the socials, man.
Yeah, I gotta do something special for episode 100. I don't know what it's gonna be. You gotta do something special for it, though.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. We definitely gonna have to do something special for the people, man.
You gonna creep on it. You gonna creep on it sooner or later. You gotta do something special for it.
I mean, 50 crept up on us quick. Like 50 episodes. That's a lot of episodes, bro. Yeah, it's a lot of episodes. But hey, man, y'all know how we do it, man. This is Juh Kickin It Podcast, and we out. You dig.